Tonight on the Northwestern News Report, NU students say ICE out in solidarity with protests across the nation.
Plus, stopping the spread, how to keep yourself safe from norovirus.
And Bachata behind the scenes. Step into Latin music with NU's Ballroom Latin and Swing team.
All that and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news
right now.
Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Katajina Nguyen.
And I'm Callie Proctor. Northwestern students staged a protest by the Weber Arch Friday against immigration and customs enforcement. With more on what students were demanding, here's Philip Lamb.
For some Northwestern students, last week's protest against immigration and customs enforcement hits close to home.
I've had family members who have been deported in the last few months. It's terrifying.
Gonzalez says he has not been in contact with his uncle since before winter break.
He has a wife, he has 2 children who are still in the U.S. and they don't know of him. They don't know where he's at.
Gonzalez was just one of around 50 students protesting by the Arch Friday morning in the wake of 2 deadly ICE-involved shootings in Minnesota. Students calling for an end to what they say is an abuse of power by the Trump administration.
It's a complete violation of human rights and we should not be standing for it.
Students hoisting signs that read ICE out and immigrants make America great.
I took the que se vayan ellos, saying that they're the ones that should leave, and I applied it to ICE.
Now, this is part of a broader general strike nationwide that's calling for no shopping, no work, and no school. This also comes amid the Senate trying to negotiate a bill that would extend DHS funding, the Department of Homeland Security, which ICE is a part of.
I think it's really sad, the fact that we have to do things like this to make people understand that it's not okay to be murdering people, to be separating families.
Organizers encouraging students to call their senators to oppose the DHS funding bill and to support local initiatives.
We also hope to encourage students to look into local level policy issues. There are a bunch of individual states that are considering legislation passed that will demand more restrictions on ICE.
But for Gonzalez, doubtful the federal government will curb operations anytime soon.
I feel kind of helpless right now with how the government is shaped.
Philip Lamb, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Philip. Today, President Trump signed the bill to keep the Department of Homeland Security funded through the end of next week.
Norovirus, commonly known as the stomach flu, is going around campus, keeping students stuck at home with severe symptoms like stomach pain and vomiting. I looked into how Northwestern community is working to reduce the virus's spread. Emma Orand remembers getting sick with norovirus during her freshman year.
It was mostly just laying in bed for the most part. I don't think I left the building for 3 or so days.
Norovirus is a very contagious virus that causes symptoms such as vomiting and diarrhea. The disease spreads easily through person-to-person contact, as well as contaminated surfaces, food, and water.
It is very common that we see these outbreaks or just increased cases, typically in small areas or small community areas, such as schools and universities.
Dr. Benisa Shaw says norovirus is most commonly spread from September to February, when people generally stay indoors and in close proximity with others. According to CDC data, the state of Illinois ranks second across all 50 states for the number of reported norovirus cases.
It's very common in residence halls, dining halls, community spaces such as, libraries and communal areas.
Orrin says that last year, she was unable to attend classes for several days. She says she followed protocol for distributing illness forms to request accommodations from her professors. And while some classes were lenient with her illness,
it was 3 days after getting norovirus that I had my chemistry midterm, and they don't have makeup, so I took the chemistry midterm, which was not great, but you do what you can.
Sophia Sanchez is a resident of North Mid-Quads, which Northwestern says is one of the residential building hotspots for norovirus this year. Sanchez says that with the academic quarter system, it is difficult for students to fully recover before getting back into the classroom.
We all have a tendency to want to keep going and suffer through it, but that's not the answer.
She warns that students should be careful about spreading the virus even after symptoms subside.
Noro is still contagious even after your 3 days of symptoms, so just making sure that you're practicing good like habits, like good hygiene habits is always important.
Dr. Shaw says going back to the basics can help stop the spread.
Norovirus is resistant to many hand sanitizers. So it's back to the basics where it's good hand washing with soap and water for about that 20 seconds.
Northwestern has removed the extra precautions taken at dining halls, allowing students to once again serve their own food. Health experts still advise frequent hand washing before eating or drinking to prevent the spread of norovirus.
About a year ago, a group of Evanston firefighters posed for a photo that sparked ongoing litigation between a fire chief and the city of Evanston. NNN's Uma Morris joins us now in studio to break down the latest development in the case.
Thanks, Callie. On the day of President Trump's inauguration, Evanston Fire Department Chief Kurt Kumon and others posed for a photo wearing Trump masks while in uniform. After the photo went viral on Reddit, Kumon was subjected to a disciplinary investigation, alleging that he violated city code. Kumon alleges that during the investigation, he was forced to reveal that he's a supporter of President Trump and was suspended for 7 shifts without pay as a result. In September, Kumon filed a lawsuit claiming that the city of Evanston violated his First Amendment rights. The suit alleged that his suspension was due to his vote for President Trump. Kumon's lawyer, Garrett Brown, clarified that under the First Amendment, no civil servant should be forced to reveal who they vote for. In November, the city of Evanston filed a motion to dismiss the suit. They claimed that because Kumon was in uniform, he was expressing himself as a city official, not a private citizen. They argue that their decision to suspend Kumon was because of his conduct, not his political beliefs. The latest development to the case came just last week on January 27th. Kumon filed an order denying the city of Evanston's motion to dismiss. It argues the court can't just rule out that Kumon's political affiliation could have influenced the decision to suspend him. The case remains in legal limbo as both sides prepare for their next steps.
Thanks, Uma.
Last Wednesday, the House Committee on Education and Workforce sent a letter to the mayor of Evanston, Daniel Biss, outlining concerns that Biss endangered Jewish Northwestern students in order to, quote, shore up progressive credentials, end quote. In the letter, the chairman says Biss refused to give the university police support to combat the Deering Meadow encampment in April 2024. The chairman says the police were unable to make any arrests because of it. In response, Biss called the letter a dishonest political attack and claims the letter uses the, quote, real danger of anti-Semitism to advance a political agenda, end quote. NNN will continue to update this story as it develops.
Coming up, I will break down the latest in a lawsuit accusing Northwestern University's Pritzker School of Laws of discrimination.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Ready, set, now!
former Illinois sheriff's deputy has been sentenced to 20 years in prison for the killing of Sonia Massey, a case that drew national attention. Massey, a 36-year-old black woman, called 911 for help in July of 2024, reporting a possible intruder outside her home in Springfield. Prosecutors say the encounter turned deadly when former Sangamon County Deputy Sean Grayson shot her. Body camera footage played a key role in the case, and a jury later convicted Grayson of second-degree murder. Last Thursday, a judge imposed the maximum sentence allowed under state law. The case also triggered a federal investigation, which ended with the county agreeing to more de-escalation training and better tracking of use of force incidents.
Northwestern's Bridge USA held a debate this past week on recent ICE protests that have taken place around the country. The discussion mimicked Jubilee-style Spectrum videos, based on a popular YouTube channel that sparks discourse about a topic by aligning people on a physical spectrum. Our Darasimi Bankole was there.
Students came together on Wednesday to discuss the recent ICE protests that have erupted across the nation.
I headed like a very similar type of club in high school that was also very much discussion based. We had also the prompts, the discussion prompts. I think the only difference is that we didn't have these kind of agree to disagree spectrum questions to kind of introduce them, and I actually think they're quite effective at getting people to speak.
Debate participant Maya Bousson was particularly excited for this event because of how it connected her to her past.
I always appreciate, the kind of aim to have discussions with, multi-partisan perspectives. However, I think, obviously sometimes the choice of participants for Jubilee videos is deliberately a bit polarizing.
This is exactly what Bridge NU hopes to combat. President Henry Fleck wants to see people sharing their differing views in a productive way.
What I'm hoping people can get out of it is maybe just a better understanding of alternate perspectives, which in turn is going to inform their own perspective.
The debate started with whether or not the U.S. should acquire Greenland, but later turned toward ICE and immigration.
Given what happened over the weekend and the shooting of Alex Preddy, we felt that that was something that ICE in Minneapolis was something that was on a lot more people's minds. People are talking about it all over campus, and with Bridge, we really do try and make sure our topics are something that people are going to want to talk about anyway, so it just seems like the natural fit.
Students from all different majors and disciplines, finding a space to discuss political topics in an environment that encourages differing opinions.
I think it's of major importance, and that's actually why, Bridge stood out to me in the first place. Even, especially actually if you disagree with a certain standpoint, I think it's really important to kind of understand how people think, no matter what the opinion is.
With political divides growing, Bridge NU is hoping that conversation is the bridge forward. Darasimi Bankole, Northwestern News Network.
Bridge NU is hosting a moderated discussion between Young Americans for Freedom and the Platypus Affiliated Society. The event will take place on February 19th.
A federal judge in Chicago recently dismissed a lawsuit accusing Northwestern University's law school of discriminating against white men. NNN's Alex Zhong is here with us in the studio now to break it down.
Yes, Callie, the lawsuit targeting Northwestern University Pritzker School of Law was filed by a conservative nonprofit group called Faculty, Alumni, and Students Opposed to Racial Preferences, also known as FASORP. The group alleged that the law school discriminated against white male candidates by favoring women and people of color in faculty hiring and in the selection of editors and articles for its law review. The plaintiffs claim that NU violated Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, prohibiting employment discrimination based on race, color, religion, and sex. Last Wednesday, U.S. District Judge Sarah Ellis dismissed the case. The judge did not issue a detailed written opinion, but Northwestern argued that the plaintiffs lack legal standing, meaning they did not have the right to bring the lawsuit. The case was brought on behalf of 3 unnamed FASORP members who said they were ready to apply for faculty positions at Northwestern's law school, but had not actually submitted applications. The university countered that because those individuals never applied, they could not show they were directly harmed. And you argue that federal law requires plaintiffs to show a concrete and specific injury to proceed with a discrimination claim. The lawsuit was supported by America First Legal, a group co-founded by former Trump advisor Stephen Miller. The case is part of a broader national effort by conservative legal groups to challenge diversity, equity, and inclusion or DEI policies at elite universities. Similar lawsuits against the Harvard Law Review and the NYU Law Review have been dismissed in recent years. A related case against the Michigan Law Review was voluntarily withdrawn last fall. Now, Northwestern has denied the allegations, saying its faculty hiring process complies with federal law and is based on academic merit, teaching ability, and institutional needs. The university said that diversity considerations are used to help ensure a broad range of perspectives in legal education, not replacing qualifications. For now, the ruling ends the case at the trial court level unless plaintiffs choose to appeal. Back to you, Kelly.
Thanks, Alex.
First-generation low-income, or FIGLY students, celebrated with a night of live music, hopeful awards, and delectable dinner at the I'm First celebration this past Thursday. This annual celebration was run by Student Enrichment Services, or SES, under the I'm First program and held at the Guild Lounge in Scott Hall. The event featured work from students with performances from the Latin Music Ensemble and second-year Dante Espinosa Villaseñor, plus a t-shirt designed by third-year Amelia Wilson featuring a hummingbird inside a sun.
I think I really wanted to represent like joy, hope, and unity through it all, despite like their smallness and all like the chaos of life that the world brings. The hummingbird is something that like pushes through, and I think that really just represents like the first gen experience here at Northwestern. I know like imposter syndrome, like just not always having something to lean back on, but always pushing through.
The staff of FCS also used the celebration to announce the winners of their Trailblazer Award and Advocate Award, going to an undergraduate student and a faculty or staff member who has uplifted the FIGLY community. This year's winners were Rayon Lalo Nabil and Professor Almaz Magina, respectively. Next up, get ready for Northwestern's Ballroom Latin and Swing team to dance its way into your heart with their Valentine's-themed Bachata social.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
One, two, three, four.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Welcome back. We are finally starting to feel some warmer temperatures here.
Yes, right now 30 degrees almost feels like the summer.
And NNN's chief meteorologist Emmanuel Perez Martinez is here in studio to break it all down for us. Emmanuel, is the warmth here to stay?
Yeah, we can see a small warm up in temperatures this week. Currently it is 23 degrees with cloudy and dry conditions. For the rest of the night, temperatures will remain in the lower 20s with a slight breeze. Looking at our temperatures across the Chicagoland area, a bit warmer to the southwest. It is 23 degrees here in Evanston, 26 in downtown Chicago, 23 degrees in Elgin, and 27 degrees in Aurora. Looking at our regional weather radar, we have a high pressure system far out west, allowing for those lake effect clouds, giving us those cloudy conditions here in Evanston and Chicago, but that's also opening the possibility for lake effect snow showers in the northwestern portions of Indiana. Onto our 5-day forecast. Looking at the highs this week, fairly warmer compared to what we've been experiencing. Starting off on Wednesday in the early morning hours, cloudy conditions, then those conditions will clear up with a high of 28 degrees. Thursday, cloudy conditions with a high of 30. Then starting off our weekend with Friday, those cloudy conditions stick with us with a beautiful high temperature of 36 degrees. Saturday, those bone-chilling temperatures return with a high of 23 degrees and cloudy conditions. Then on Sunday, partly cloudy skies with a high of 34.
Thanks, Emmanuel. For breaking weather updates, check out our Instagram at @NNN_news.
Kumon Learning Center is making a comeback in Evanston. Neha Yedavali has more on why the return matters.
Kumon Learning Center is officially coming back to Evanston on 1551 Sherman Avenue after 16 years away. Educators say the demand for supplementary education hasn't left.
It was a good opportunity and the community definitely needs that. There are a number of families who are actually looking into sending their kids to Kumon, and they're actually going to Niles, which is pretty far, and so now they're actually coming here.
The center teaches math and reading skills with a focus on building confidence in elementary through high school students.
We definitely see a need for Kumon here, as the families do send their children to have some supplementary education and trying to get ahead in their grade level to make a difference and, feeling more confident.
Beyond academics, instructors say they believe that
in the long run, it helps them become a very confident individuals when they grow up because they are so motivated to do their work. Consistency, discipline every day. They do worksheets every day. So that just, makes them become more disciplined.
Residents say that the reopening adds value to the community. According to the Abdul Latif Jameel Poverty Lab, tutoring programs have been shown to help the average student advance from the 50th percentile nationally to the 66th in reading and math.
I welcome it. It seems like a space where kids can learn in a safe environment and creative, hopefully.
Residents say that this reopening represents a renewed investment in Evanston students, especially after uncertainty following District 65 school closures. Neha Yedavali, Northwestern News Network.
Classes at Kumon are expected to begin this week.
As February begins, students are finding ways to connect ahead of Valentine's Day. One event used Latin music and dance to bring students together. NNN's Margaret Gonzalez has more.
Sunday night, Northwestern's Ballroom Latin and Swing team, also known as Blast, hosted a Valentine's-themed Bachata social. The event was open to all students with no partners or prior dance experience required.
So I grew up in a community that wasn't very Hispanic, and when I think of all these Hispanic and Latin dance styles, I think that it's something that I really missed out on. So I'm trying to get back into that and at least explore it more.
Event organizers say that the social was designed to include dancers of all skill levels, beginning with a friendly introductory lesson.
We usually have one kind of social event where we teach dances, have food, and gather together as a club every quarter. Definitely say that this is an opportunity to come and just learn something new for the first time.
The lesson and social dances were led by Christopher Wright, who says events like this hold personal value.
I've always grown up with a very predominantly Hispanic family and household, so it was really fun being able to share that with others. I was sharing my culture and my dance styles with others.
Ryda adds that dance can bring people together on campus.
I think dance is just like a universal language, which I think is, if you want to learn it, you should just come learn it.
The night wrapped up with students continuing to dance, taking what they learned with them, one step at a time. Margaret Gonzalez, Northwestern News Network.
For those interested in learning bachata, the Ballroom Latin and Swing team hosts beginner-friendly classes every Sunday. You can find more info on Blast's Instagram page at blast_NU. And we'll be back faster than your sheets can dry for Northwestern's latest benefit concert held by A&O Productions.
I'm Kelly McEvers, founding host of the NPR podcast Embedded.
I'm James Edwards, host of the Unresolved podcast from Frontline.
I'm Antonia Cereijido, former senior producer of Anything for Selena podcast and current executive producer at Elias Studios.
My narrative, since I've been locked up and kind of made my transition, has been like redemption, accountability.
When I come into the classroom environment, every individual that sits amongst me takes education seriously.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Last week, A&O Productions hosted a benefit concert for Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights. NNN's Gabriella Amberher-Medalliou tuned in to the student headliners to learn more.
Last Thursday at Space Evanston, A&O Productions put on a benefit concert with student group Static Transmission and New York City's up-and-coming TikTok famous band, Laundry Day. A&O announced this show 2 weeks ago in the heat of conversations surrounding immigration from Minneapolis to Chicago in support of the Illinois Coalition for Immigration and Refugee Rights.
Yeah, well, for me, it's very important because my family's affected by ICE right now. So I'm gladly playing for the show.
Static Transmission has played at several small venues in the past, but they said that playing for a cause made this experience new and important for their identity as a band.
I feel like the fear in the streets because ICE is there, so I had to be care about me and my family, and this event is like the push like the people need to be conscient.
On the night of the concert, Space Evanston filled with students ready to support a night of music and collective action. The show raised over $2,000 for immigrant communities in the Chicago area, according to the Illinois Coalition of Immigrant and Refugee Rights.
The immigration topic is a very personal one to me, and I think donating to this cause is especially important at this time. And I think benefit right now this year is like important now, even more important than ever. And like
if we can get you moving or get some sort of like physical reaction, I think that's then we've done our job right.
The community was moved in action and music, and both hit all the right notes. Gabriella Amberher-Medalliou, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Gabriella. So, Callie, have you been to any concerts on campus yet?
Unfortunately, I've not gotten the chance to go to any student concerts, but maybe after midterm season is over and things calm down a little bit, I'll finally get out and see some student production. What about you?
Unfortunately, I also haven't, but last quarter when I was in DC, I got to see Sky Is Your God.
Ooh, that sounds so cool. And that's all the time we have for tonight. Stay tuned for a special Spanish language newscast, Noticiero Northwestern at 8. I'm Callie Proctor.
And I'm Katarzyna Nguyen. Have a good night.